Good evening, everyone. This is Craig, your fearless, not always fearless, your leader. We'll just say that. Whether we have fear or not, we do it anyway. We are going to take the next, I don't know, maybe month and break off from what we have been doing with Terry and David on Mondays. And we're going to have our own team trainings for a little while, and I've been speaking with a number of you guys, and there was some specific things that we want to get into that I think will be better facilitated with a smaller group. So basically, until further notice, we'll let you know. But if you guys check on the Optimal Health Coach page on Mondays, or you have your notifications set to notify you, I always post in there where we're going to be for the day. And then I also try to put it in the group chat. So so that's what we're going to be doing for the next probably 4 weeks or so. And one of the things that I'm also going to be doing is recording these and posting these on the Optimal Health Coach page, so the coaches that maybe can't meet right at this time, they can watch it later and get some of the training, because we're going to do a couple little deep dives into some practical coaching skills. We're going to be taking some questions, things like that. And this was basically inspired by some of the conversations we had last week. And I wanted to take a minute and actually celebrate the folks that are on our team that took the challenge and helped develop the idea that I had last week. And so, Carrie Armstrong, thank you for what you contributed. Because we all got 35 people watched your video and a couple people commented on it. And so that was helpful in having you interpret through your filter and your voice what you heard and how it impacted you, because then I got to learn from you what you learned from me, and I learned something new. So Carrie Armstrong, great. Sharon Green, well done. Good job there. Kelly Carpenter, way to go. And Eileen Butler, she did one. And Amber Hampson did one as well. And so did Murray. Murray had the bow and arrow. That was a nice little visual. So thank you all for taking up the challenge. The next thing I'm curious about, though, is there was some people that didn't, that were on the call. And my curiosity was it a skill? Was it a concept? Or was it just the fact that you just decided not to take action on that? That's one of the things that we sort of relates to what we talked about last week. And it's when people are trying to move forward, like let's say you're on this side of a river and your goal is to get on the other side of the river, but you're not getting there. It's either a skill you don't have, it's a concept that you do have that's not benefiting you, or it's just the fact that you just haven't taken action for whatever reason. And so skills, actions, concepts, or SAC for short. And so as you're working through your own life, trying to figure out how to become who you want to be, and you're working with other people on figuring out what's missing, keeping them from how they want to be in the world, that look throughout as a skill, as an action, or a concept. And then once you figure that out, then you obviously put it within structural tension, and you use the stop, challenge, choose vehicle to move forward as far as that goes. I want to take a minute and just let you guys jump in, comments. Just let's get a little dialogue going just about that concept. What's going through your mind based upon the intro there? Or maybe you're one that chose not to do it. And if you would be bold and just say, this is why. Because I know the people that did it. Actually, before that, you think about it. And I'm actually curious, Sharon, just to talk to you for a second. you did do a little video. It looks like you were in your car, maybe, which is great. But tell me why you did it and what was the benefit for you in doing it.
Well, I think that what motivated me to do it, because it was a few days after the call, after our jump start. But I think what motivated me was I kept thinking about it. And I kept thinking about different aspects about what you'd shared. And I think if you care about your clients, you want to see them succeed. And so any tools that we can give them or ways that we can enhance their experience in becoming healthy are helpful. So, my mind's always going, and I thought about just different aspects of what you'd shared. And so I had a little bit of a thought that I don't think you'd quite mentioned, and that is that, the effects of cheating, for lack of a better term, and just develop that a little bit in my mind. So I thought I could share that.
Well, and I love the analogy. I think it was you. I just rewatched them, but someone talked about when you slide on the ice for lack of skill, it affects your driving record.
Right. That was what I was thinking.
That was you. Yeah. And that affects your insurance. So there's some consequences, not forever, hopefully not forever consequences. You just banged up your car or what have you. Maybe you just were in the ditch, but you could get a ticket. You could run into another car.
You could have physical injury.
You could have physical injury. Right. And so there's all these things that come along because of a lack of skill. Right. And so with my kids, for example, we took them to a parking lot where there was just the minimal light poles here and there. And we rolled them around and did all that kind of stuff and purposely slid and let them get out of control. And, we still do that. It's not teaching time. It's actually playtime most of the time for us now. But
hey, wait till it's your grandkids. We've now done it with our grandkids.
That's going to be great. This is so great with my family. The first snow we had last year, everybody was home late, my wife included, and I work from home. And I'm like, what's everybody home late? Well, we were sliding around. My wife was out sliding around on the roads, and everybody was like, oh, yeah, it's great. It's like just perfect. So we have a pretty awesome family. But the neat thing about it is that they know how to slide around because they have the skill to do it and not, hurt things. So. Right. So thank you very much for chiming in there and for doing that, because I got something out of it that wasn't there prior to you recording your video. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious as we're thinking through this whole idea of becoming better and giving ourselves upgrades for one of you that maybe didn't do it. Would you be willing to let us walk through what was maybe you didn't see value, or what was it that you didn't know how? Anybody want to come off mute and just talk through that with us? I'm sensing a big no. Angie, you'd like to? Oh, look at you. Yes. Thank you, Angie, for being bold.
Well, I don't know if I have much to say, but I thought about doing it. Mm-hmm. And I molded some things around in my head for a little while. And then I was like, well, I'm not really clear as to what I need to do. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, well, I think I'll watch a couple other people's things. Mm-hmm. See what they do. And I watched 2. I was like, well, actually I watched 1.5. Mm-hmm. Sort of got distracted in the middle of the second one.
Okay.
So then I guess I just got busy and thought maybe, okay, I'll do that later, and then just never did.
Yeah. So thank you. That actually, so if we were to think about that, not putting any judgment or or value as far as worth. Just stick that off to the side. We're just thinking skill sets. And if that would have been something where you could have gotten a little bit of a breakthrough, that would be a plus. And so you had this intention over here or assignment, and then you had the reality of it, of you getting a win, and then something was missing in between there, right? And so actually what I'm doing right now with you is actually the process that I was training on last week. And so what was missing? And so you just said, maybe there was some structure or a clear plan of what it was, what we were asking, which Don Carpenter will attest to the reality that often I'm not really clear. I throw something out there that's kind of vague, right? And you're probably in your personality trait, you're probably have some C in you, correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So that's the conscientious. You really like clear outlines and clear guidelines, and you like to get stuff right. So for your personality, the thing was kind of a last minute idea that I had, right? I noticed Dawn didn't do one either, right? But it makes complete sense, right? So I'm learning right now too that I can be a little more clear in my in the ideas of an assignment. But what was missing for you too is possibly the idea of writing down something and maybe throwing something out there, even if it's not exactly perfect, and just kind of trying to just do something, see what you can get out of it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to. I want to be clear. Your personality type and the propensities that you have are great. I mean, we're all perfect, right? We all have just those things. Don't try to change us. The downside is any one of our personality traits taken to the extreme can become a weakness. And so my weakness is sometimes I'm just spazzy and all that, right? I don't give clear instructions. So, yeah, I know.
Not that they weren't clear, I don't think, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty accurate. I mean, not that, I don't know.
No, it's okay. No, and we're just trying to figure out if let's say there was a personal growth opportunity for you to do something you haven't done before and maybe grow in a small way that you haven't grown before, this could have been an opportunity for that to happen. And so, but because it didn't happen, we're trying to figure out why. And did you want it to happen? Are you interested in growth? All those kinds of things. And then try to figure out what we would need to do. What's the skill that's missing? Is it a skill? Is it a concept? Is it a tool? Is it, just having a plan? I know you and I have been talking about kind of writing things down, and literally, I mean, I've got a list of things I'm going to talk about tonight because, oh my goodness, you're good with outlines. I'm a basket case, and so I'm writing them down, right? So those are just the skills that I've learned along the way to help me be more successful. So anyway, thank you, Angie, for walking through that. I think that was helpful. Just in that, hopefully it was. So the next thing I want to go into a little bit tonight is just, first of all, congratulations for those that you did it. And for those of you that haven't done it, you can still go back and watch. I posted the boot camp or the jumpstart video. I recommend you watch it if you haven't. And if something comes out of that, because I really think that there's some fundamentals there that are valuable for everybody to feel like they understand how we coach in a structural way, structural coaching. So the next question I have for you guys is, let's see here. And this is if you know this, and I've talked about this, let's let somebody else that maybe new answer it. How can the 5-in-1 give you 3,000 calories a day. Now, some of you have talked about this before. So I asked this to a lady today, and she said, well, the 5-in-1 is a pretty low calorie diet. And I said, what do you mean low calorie? And I told her the 5-in-1 gives you between 2,500 and 3,500 calories a day. So I ask you, anybody want to take a stab at that? Is that like, wait a minute, I've counted the calories on each one of those wrappers. Who's done that? Right? Yep.
Is it just because of the variety of the food that can be fixed for the one meal?
Well, no. I mean, if you do a 5-in-1 perfect, your lean and green is going to be between 400 and 500 calories. And then the other fuelings are about 110 each. So how can about 900 calories equate to 3,000?
My answer would be is that it can't.
Oh, but it can.
Do tell.
Yeah, do tell. Anybody want to take a stab at what's going on there?
Is it what we're burning in fat? Is the additional calories?
Exactly. So when you're in fat burn, it's not just a fancy word we came up with. You're eating, let's just say that you are losing a pound a day, just to make it easy math. How many calories are in a pound of fat? Anybody want to know that? Yep. Kelly just said, he's on mute, but he just said 3,500. I could tell. I can read his lips. So 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories of energy. I like in Europe because on the back of on all the labels, it says energy. It doesn't say calories. It says energy. And that's what it is. It's energy. So 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories, and you're eating about 1,000 from the 5-in-1. So 3,500 plus 1,000 is 4,500 calories. So if someone is dropping a pound a day, they are burning 4,500 calories. Their body is not burning. I mean, it's absorbing, it's utilizing, it's getting the benefit of. Now, if you're losing a half a pound a day, that's 3,500 divided by 2, about 1,750, plus about 1,000 for the 5-in-1. So that's about 2,750. Right? But we're used to thinking only the calories that I get are from the food I eat. And so hopefully, guys, you had a little epiphany there that why the 5-in-1 is so amazing and why you shrink. You're actually burning your calories that are stored as fat. I mean, that's why you start changing shape. Like it really is going away for reals, right? It's like, where does it go? Yeah, you're burning it. It goes into muscles and stuff like that. So when someone of your clients may say, well, is that a low calorie diet? I would say, well, what do you mean by that? Right? Because it's a low calorie chomping through your mouth, but it's not a low calorie utilization. And quite honestly, my muscles don't care whether the calories came from fat or they came from a caramel crunch nut bar. Once it gets to my muscle, it's all energy, right? And that's the beauty of how the 5-in-1 works. It actually turns your body to utilize the fuel that's on board. And the 5-in-1 is kind of a key to unlock that onboard fuel. So just another couple ways of thinking about that as you're thinking about, now here's a challenge. What happens, there's a little trivia again. What happens if you are on the 5-in-1-ish? So you're eating the 5 fuelings, you're eating your lean and green. Oh, but you decided to have an apple. So let's take calories in an apple are about 100. So you're at 1,000 calories of 5-in-1 plus 100 calories. Are you in fat burn, and how many calories now does your body have access to? Anybody want to take a stab? Carrie, how does that equate to someone doing the 4, 2, and 1 while working out? Right. Yeah, that's a different story. We'll go to that in a second. So here's the problem with people that are on the teetering on fat burn. As you go from burning 3,000, let's say, calories, some inside, some outside, you get all those calories. So you're not starving. Who starves on 3,000 calories? Said nobody, right? And you're getting 24 vitamins and minerals. So nutritionally, you're not starving either. You are getting everything and your body is thriving. But you throw an apple in there. Now you're not in fat burn. So now you actually only are getting 1,100 calories because it's the 5-in-1 plus the apple out of fat burn, no 3,000 calories from fat. Now you're actually now you kind of are starving. That's why you get hungry when you fiddle around with a little bit of extra here and a little bit extra there. And so now that you know that, you can kind of help your clients say it's better to be solid 5-in-1 because then you have solid 5-in-1 is 2,700 to 4,000 calories. 5-in-1-ish is more like 1,100 calories. So, and then, so does that, any questions about that before I go on to Carrie's knuckle buster question that she decided to give me? Yeah, they give me air my living. Any questions, or is that like, I want to make sure you guys understand the science of it all. It kind of helps you when you're coaching people to have some confidence in why what we do is working. Bernadette, anything from you? Oh, no, I'm good. No one else? This is a new skill set I'm trying to learn, is to don't have run-on ideas. Stop, park the car, let somebody else talk, then jump on again.
So Craig, when
Yeah.
when a 5-in-1 transitions to a 3-in-3 and they're adding more calories, but now they've got their weight under control and the muscle built up, that's why they will continue to burn?
Well, you can still be in a caloric deficit. Like, let's say, like someone that's not in, like so it gets a little bit deep now, but you have to look at your total energy expenditure. Simple way to do that is your weight times 11. So if you're 200 pounds times 11, that's 2,100 calories that you would need to maintain that per day. And if you're eating if you're eating less than 2,100 calories, you will slowly lose about a pound a week on average. You're about 500 calories low. There's some more details there, but that's not really a fat burning weight loss plan. That's just a low calorie. You're burning less than you're eating, right? But fat burn is kind of this not magic. It's this artificial state that we create that's very safe and very effective. And that's why it's so much better than a low calorie diet, because you're not starving yourself and you've got good energy. So as people are transitioning from fat burn, you're burning less and less fat as you go out of fat burn, and you're increasing your calories. So it's called equilibration, where you're equalizing, and then you figure out with your exercise, with the food that you're eating, where you need to be within a few hundred calories of your TEE every day so that you can maintain your weight long term. And that's actually in chapters, I think 13, 14, and 15 in the Habits of Health, where it talks about total energy expenditure and figuring out what transition looks like. So
Awesome. That was some of the harder chapters for me to.
yeah, it's hard to theorize it, but when you're actually doing it, there's a big math problem in there, and it gives you all this hard math, or it says your weight times 11 plus your energy, your energy level or your activity level. And I always underestimate, and if I keep losing, then you just bump it up 100 calories a week, and you eventually find your spot. But I just try to make it simple. So I have done the math, and I've done the simple thing, and you're within like 50 calories. It's pretty close. So, yeah. All right. So those are the kind of the two things. I want to talk a little structural tension. I want to kind of talk a little bit about the science of why 5-in-1 works the way it does, what fat burn is, what fat burn's not, how many calories you're actually getting, and why it's so unbelievably great. And so has that sparked any additional questions? Otherwise, I'll move on to my next topic. Quiet bunch today.
Hey, Craig.
Yes.
It's Debbie. I have a question. Is there somewhere that talks about that, just adding that apple, so I could kind of how it's throwing you to now just bringing you down to the 1,100 calories?
Right.
Is there something that you read that you knew about that? I mean, just so I could kind of like sit and take it in.
Yeah. Well, it was just what is fat burn and what isn't fat burn. No, I surmised that by myself, because when you're in fat burn and you're burning fat, when you kick yourself out of fat burn, the scale doesn't move. So it doesn't move because you're not burning fat. And if you're not burning fat, you don't have access to all those calories. And so there was variables in there. Most people, they may drop a pound a day for the first few days, but like 2 months into it, they're probably no longer dropping a pound a day. Maybe a quarter pound a day, or 2.5 pounds a week is what I see. 10 pounds a month. That's what I see. So anyway.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, it was just because I was wondering, some people get 5-in-1-ish and they don't get any results, and they're really hungry and they get frustrated. Well, it's because they're starving their body. They're actually low, really. I mean, imagine you're getting 1,100 calories. Imagine if you just had one piece of like a 20 grams of sugar, 5-in-1 perfect, and you just took a teaspoon of 20 grams of sugar. You're now out of fat burn, but you're still that maybe 20 grams of sugar, 20 times 4. What's that? That 20 times 20, it's only 80 more calories, but you're now out of fat burn. So you add 80 calories and you subtract 2,000. That's why it's one of the things of understanding the science behind it, of why being straight 5-in-1 and being really clear of the why you're doing it is so valuable, so that you can be stay on track. And,
would you say that so your body goes to that instant sugar first?
Yep.
That's what throws you off?
It's way easier. Yeah. Burning sugar, anytime you have sugar in your muscles or in your liver, it's so simple for it to burn it. It's going to go for the easy before it has to take it, process it through your liver, and then release it as a sugar-like substance called a ketone. And so anyway, there's that. So I have we did our healthy social last night, and we had an awesome time. And there was one question that I gave to everybody that I'm going to give to you. And it was, what is the reason? Does anybody know the reason why the ketogenic diet was created? Debbie can't answer because she was at the party. Because a lot of people are doing keto, I'm losing weight, it's keto, right? The ketogenic diet was actually designed for people with epilepsy. It wasn't designed as a weight loss program. And the average person only loses 22 pounds maximum on keto. It's not a long-term sustainable thing. And I will post a link to a podcast called Science versus and it's all about the ketogenic diet and what it was created for, and that it is a diet hack. The guy that created it's like, what are you guys, silly? Like, this, that's not what that's used for. Like, what are you doing? This is for people with epilepsy. It's all about the myelin and all the brain synapses and all that stuff. So he says, I don't know how that'll be good long term. It's for epileptics. So anyway, just a couple little things there, because a lot of times people say that 5-in-1 is compatible with keto. That's not true. That one's a lifestyle program. The other's kind of a diet hack or a way of eating for people with epilepsy that could help.
Hey, Craig.
Yep.
I actually went to our nutritional support on that too, just to ask him some questions. And one of the nutritionists had shared with me that, of course, it's high fat, no carbs, but the risks that come along with the keto diet long term, being in that ketostasis, metabolic state or whatever, that metabolic state, is low blood pressure, digestive issues, constipation, diarrhea, hair loss, kidney problems, cholesterol, heart disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. Like them apples. So do it if you want all that. Or you could do the 5-in-1 for a short period of time, get your weight off, develop habits around structural tension, and stop challenge twos and keep your weight off forever. I don't know. That sounds pretty good. Right? Who's with? Yeah, I'm finding the well, I'll post a link later. And there's a bunch of fun ones there about detoxing and cleanses. It's a good one. So anyway, there's some fun stuff on science versus. So last up, just a couple little things. I would love it if you guys during the week have a question. Maybe you're coaching one of your clients. Get a special little notepad and just write them down and send them to me, or just text it to me right then. Topic for the week, question. And we'll start doing those, answering those questions on our calls here. But I want to make sure you guys know a little gentle reminder about the boot camp that's coming up. So the boot camp is going to be coming up. It's starting on, what is the date on that? It is on the 26th of January. No.
19th.
It is the 19th. That's right. 19th from 7 a.m. Pacific to 8 a.m. Pacific. And if you don't have that on your calendars now, I just recommend you just block it right now and set a little reminder. It's going to be 6 weeks. So that'll be essentially 6 hours of very high quality training from the fabulous Becca Tinter. And if you're wondering where the link is to join it, go to the Optimal Health Coach page, and it's actually, I made it the banner, and I'm going to show you that now. So right up here on the top, just you can click that, and there's all the details. That's the number you dial in, 7 a.m. And I could add a description starting January 19th for 6 weeks. There we go. Now you got a little detail there. So that's something you definitely would want to look into. No matter what level of coach you are, there'll be stuff for everyone. And that's it. That was all I had for you today. Any takeaways or aha moments from the leadership call as we're closing up that you'd like to share with us? You took a note that was a big deal. Share it with the rest of us. Come on, you guys. Am I going to have to come over there and get you?
I had some. I was just looking to find it.
Okay.
I liked what Jamil had to say about ask, seek, and knock, which was good. I also like what Tiffany had to say about put progress over perfection, and lack of consistency brings lack of interest.
Ooh, that's powerful, huh? That's
All
great.
right. Yeah, the other one that Jamel had said, fail to plan and plan to fail, that one I knew from our Ziegler trainings.
Yeah. Yeah, these are really, really good basic stuff. Basic rhythms of successful people. People they're not successful by accident. Trust me on that. People don't stumble into success. They strategize and they work on it. And the thing about the consistency is when you show up on Facebook consistently, you have a theme and a rhythm of who you are as a person. That's what comes across. If you post just before and after pictures, that's who they know you to be. They don't come to your house. They don't know you, right? So you should post lots of, post who you are. Maybe you need to figure out who you are. It sounds silly, but maybe you need to go, what do I really care about? That's a wonderful question to ask yourself, and jot down a few things that you care about. And if you can't find any, keep asking. That's actually a really good thing, because so many people we live a Groundhog's Day life where last week is going to look just like next week, except for two things: the people we talk to and the books we read. Those are the things that change your life. What else? I mean, because otherwise you're just thinking your own thoughts. So you have to get something, you have to talk to people or read books. Those are the things that actually, this will change your life by tuning in here, because you're talking to people. It changes my life because I get to hear from you guys. And so if your life is pretty good, what would it look like if it was a little better? What if you had a little bit more, not for you, but to give away? Just some ideas, some thoughts there. So hopefully you guys will have some energy. I really do want this to be a discussion, a lively discussion. And I brought this down to a smaller group so you would be more bold in jumping in. By the way, Amber, you have your contribution skills. You get an A+. Thank you. Well done. Angie, nicely done today. Had a little courage to say, here's what's going on, right? And W jumped in a few times as well. So I want to encourage you guys each week, contribute, come here and find out, here's something great that's going on. Here's something that I don't know how to get through. Here's a block in my road. And let's talk through that stuff.
Hey, Craig.
Yes.
Can I share something?
Please.
I wish my camera was working. I'll get that figured out. But success is actually a short race, a sprint fueled by discipline just long enough for a habit to kick in and take over. That's from The One Thing with Gary Keller.
Okay.
The trick to success is to choose the right habit and bring just enough discipline to establish it.
Nice. It's brilliant. It is. All right, you guys. Well, as not if you get stuck, but as you get stuck, your coach has this big 4-wheel drive with a tow strap. So call them, and they'll come over and they'll hook you up and they'll pull you out of the ditch. They'll help you to get unstuck. All right. And if they don't have a truck, I have one. So eventually we're going to get you out of your ditch. Don't get stuck in your ditch. All right. Eileen, yeah.
Hey, Craig, I wanted to tag on to what Amber said earlier about the ask, seek, find. I really like how Jamil was saying that, you can asking friends, acquaintances, whatever, hey, do you know anybody that could use this? And, I thought, well, that could probably help the person you're talking to, but that's a wonderful resource, is not doing it all by yourself, but getting people, asking, seeking, and having that open mindset to learn, new things.
Mm-hmm. No, and what you said right there is really powerful. It feels different. Here are the two different things. I'm gonna give you two examples. So Eileen, so I've been working on my health and I've been having some big successes, and I'm learning how to help some other people. And I have some people that are really, really finding freedom again. And I'm wondering if you knew of somebody that was struggling that maybe we could talk to, that might, I don't know, maybe we could help share what's working with them, right? So that's one way. And most of the time the answer is, yeah, I know somebody, me. But you volunteered yourself. Now there's a very big difference between that and Eileen. I've been having some big success, and I'm wondering if that's something you're looking for. That feels a little different because you didn't ask, right? And so you can ask if they know somebody and then let them volunteer, or if somebody goes, hey, I need your help, they just come to you. That's a very appropriate way. That feels great. Hey, help me. Who's going to say no, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I like how he was saying that, schedule a time with them, go out for coffee or whatever. And I'm thinking that that's kind of a dual purpose too, is getting to know that person on a personal level. And, as you live life and get to know somebody, that subject is going to come up at some point anyway.
It has to. Optavia deals with life, like the stuff. And so we have tools for people in the practical things. So thank you, Eileen, for your contribution. Thank you, guys. We're gonna sign off for now. I will post this on the Optimal Health Coach page. And I just want to encourage you, if you want to be bold and go stream live a little video onto the Health Coach page about the structural tension and that piece, and that would we would love to learn with you. All right, guys. Have a good night. See you, everybody.